This is Fred Beck from Fred Talks Fighting, proudly sponsored by Air Up. I'm joined down at Trenches Boxing Gym today, joined by Coach Daley after a very eventful week. Last week, you were taking a few days off to recover?
Yeah, still recovering from that. Yeah.
It's fair enough. It was a long week, to say the least. Let's just go straight into it. We'll start with King Kenny versus Anthony Taylor. It wasn't the result you wanted. Did you expect kind of Anthony Taylor to fight that way, kind of running at him and clinching, punching in the hold?
Yeah, but first of all, Anthony Taylor's I don't respect that kind of fighting when someone just wants to come in and don't want to throw no punches, and just wants to hug and punch on the inside. That, to me, that's not fighting. It's a part of fighting, but you can't just do that for a whole fight. Saying that, he ain't really got any good boxing skills, Anthony Taylor, no good fundamentals. So I can't blame him for doing that. At the same time, what else could he do? Because if he tries to box, he'll get beat. On Kenny's side of things, I'm obviously disappointed because obviously we trained for Anthony Taylor to run at him like that in the first round, to put him off. We trained for the inside work. But as I said, you know, with these influencers, it's different. It's not like my pro fighters. Like if Martin was there, for example, fighting Anthony Taylor, he knows how to deal with those kind of situations and adapt. Whereas influencers, they're novices, they're still learning the game. So there's certain things I want him to do, but sometimes it just can't happen because they don't have the experience to pull it off.
Was it more of a frustrating fight over the 6 rounds or 5 rounds?
Yeah, I wanted to get in there myself. I swear to God, I wanted to get in there and just knock Anthony Taylor out and put him to sleep. It was really pissing me off, that fight. For someone that used to fight, my fighter Martin was part of the team. He was ringside. Reese used to fight, so all of us used to fight. So just to sit there and watch what was going on is really frustrating for us because we knew exactly what to do in that situation against someone that's doing that, you know, in the fight. But as I said, as I keep telling you in a lot of interviews and trying to educate the influencer crowd that this is influencer boxing and you can't expect them to be Floyd Mayweathers it's just not going to happen. They're all novices. Even all the way up to the top, Jake Paul, KSI, they're all novices. They still got so much to learn.
What's something that you learned watching it back if you didn't notice watching it in person?
What I learned, I don't know, to go back to the gym and, hug every person I see more. Get my fighters to hug every time they see each other.
Spread the love sort of thing.
Spread the love and don't break after 2 seconds from the hug. Just keep hugging for 10, 20 seconds and just, show love to each other. That's what I learned.
You see King Kenny's kind of influenced boxing career. There's a lot of kind of peaks and troughs. There's a lot of up and downs. What do you think's next for him?
Just keep going. Keep progressing. Keep working hard in the gym. Learning every single day. You can never be too big to learn. Even me as a coach, I'm learning every day. Even with all the experience I have, I'm still learning, and I still push myself to be better, and I demand that of all my fighters, you know. So Kenny, I was speaking to someone the other day. As an amateur boxer, when you're amateur boxing, you lose a lot of fights in amateur boxing. It's not about the zero in amateur boxing. It's about the experience. It's about gaining experience. And I think Kenny's had 7-1-4. So if you put that into amateur boxing, that's actually not a bad record for an amateur fighter. That's only been boxing for 2 years and never knew nothing about boxing only 2 years ago. So I'm proud of my brother. And it's just about him he's having some time off. He's been really active, you know. So it's just about bringing him back to the gym and improving.
Who do you think you want to put him there with next?
I don't know. With all these influencers, anyone can fight anyone. So for me, it's not about who. It's just about him being in a gym and just being the best that you can be every single day.
Okay, that's fair enough. Moving on then, let's talk about some of the other fights. KSI versus Tommy Fury. You were heavily in favour of Tommy Fury winning. I know Deji was heavily in favour of KSI winning. Who do you think won that fight, KSI or Tommy? Now you probably watched it back.
I haven't watched it back. I've been waiting for the full fight because I'm going to do a breakdown today, actually. And
On YouTube?
yeah, I'm gonna talk why it's happening and explain to everyone my thoughts. And then I'll give my conclusion at the end of who I thought won the fight. But I was there live, obviously, and watching it live, I thought it was a draw.
Thought it was a draw.
Yeah.
So you must have scored what 4 rounds to Tommy, 2 for KSI, and then the point deduction for KSI, evening it out.
I mean, I can't remember how I scored it. I was just basing it on what I'm seeing. Definitely, KSI won the first 2 rounds. I mean, it was one of those weird fights where if you understand boxing, you understand what's going on in this fight. You know, people that are just watching it and they're watching their favorite YouTuber, then they ain't really going to get what's going on. KSI, if he was to try to box like a traditional boxer, then Tommy would have won easily, in my opinion.
So kind of like what Jake Paul did. They would have seen that and thought, okay, we can't go about it this way.
Yeah, so I don't like that style that was adapting, the jumping up and down, but I understand why he was doing it because it kind of threw Tommy off from his own game plan. You know, I think he didn't know what to make of all that weird jumping around stuff. Obviously, he's got Michael Venom Page's coaches, so it explains why he does that. But jumping up and down like that, looking for just one shot to try and hurt Tommy, is really hard to watch. And then Tommy, I was disappointed with him because he allowed that to get in his head. So he was trying to force the fight, but he wasn't forcing the fight in a smart way. He was closing the distance too quick and just trying to take his head off. And the punches were just going over the top of KSI's head. And then they both end up in the clinch, wrestling around with each other, holding with each other. The referee I thought was terrible. Just the same as Anthony Taylor and Kenny's fight. I thought it was the same referee. I thought he was terrible. He didn't break it quick enough. I don't mind holding. We train for holding. You know, you have to learn how to do that. But at the same time, the referee was allowing it to be a wrestling match way too much. So, yeah.
So if everyone's saying online, lots of the interviews I did post-fight, everyone's saying it's a robbery. In your mind, it wasn't a robbery.
I mean, I have to watch it back, and I want to break it down properly. Because obviously, when you watch it live and there's so many things going on, it's different to when you're at home and you can just take your time watching a fight. I thought it was a draw. And I wouldn't argue if it went KSI's way, and it did go Tommy's way. So either way, but I saw it as a draw. It was messy. It was what people have to remember about boxing as well. That the judges are different. You got 3 judges, and they're all going to see it differently. You know, some might see it the same. Now, there's one thing in boxing judges score on, which is the aggressor. You know. And although it was a messy fight, Tommy Fury was pressing the fight. You know, he was at least trying to press and throw his shots, where you had one that was just standing off, bouncing up and down, waiting to counter or catch Tommy with the bomb. So it just depends what the judges like. You know, do the judges like the Tommy Fury pressing the fight, or do they like KSI standing off, waiting to counter, and then in the clinch working? Because he was working in the clinch. He was strong in the clinch. So it's one of those ones. You can score it to KSI. You can score it to Tommy. The best thing to do is to have a rematch, sort it out. You
think they'll do a rematch next? Think that'll be KSI's next fight?
I don't think so, but yeah. I mean, 1.3 million pay-per-view buyers. Why not do it again? Earn some money.
Let's move down the card then. What are some other fights you're quite interested by or pleased by watching it live? I guess Dean Waleed is one that all the kind of hardcore boxing fans are raving about.
Yeah, Dean impressed me because he dislocated his shoulder. He broke his hand. So when you got those two things happening in a fight, that to me shows the character he has to continue. A lot of people wouldn't continue under those circumstances. They're shy away from the fight. But the fact that he dislocated his shoulder, broke his hand, and he still found a way to grind out a victory. I mean, he won easily anyway, but when he dislocated his shoulder straight away, he had, and this is what I'm talking about, experience. He adapted in the moment. He dislocated his shoulder, and he went straight away to southpaw and started using the hand that he could use, and he was still beating Waleed with one hand. So to me, that shows intelligence. That's showing that he can adapt in a situation, and it's showing that he's got character and he's got big balls to be able to do something like that. So I was really impressed with Dean. Waleed, I was impressed with his character to staying in there, even though he was getting beat. And then in the last minute of the fight, turning it up and trying to get the knockout because he needed a knockout. So I was impressed with his character for that. But obviously, Waleed was probably the best technical display on the whole show. More technical than KSI Tommy fight, more technical than Logan fight, although I was impressed with Logan, actually.
What were you impressed by of Logan?
I was impressed the fact that he hasn't had a fight since Floyd Mayweather, and he's been in WWE, and to come into a fight of that magnitude where all the eyes are on it, and be able to box with intelligence the way he did, I thought it was really impressive. It looked like he improved, even though he's been out for so long. He's using his jab well, he's jabbing well to the body, the right hand to the body. That was really taking the wind out of Dylan Dennis. When he had him on the ropes, he was putting punches together up and down. And then, when Dylan Dennis tried to do all his dirty tactics, like go to MMA and try and take him down and all that stuff, thinking he could, Logan, dealt with that situation too. So all around, I think he done well.
What did you make of the ending? All the security guards running into the ring. Kind of like WWE-esque moment.
I love it. It's Misfits, right? Why call it Misfits if you ain't going to get moments like that? Yeah. And I thought that was good.
You've got to have a few viral moments that ESPN always seem to pick up on their Instagram. I remember looking through ESPN's Instagram. They've all kind of the viral moments of the show. Saw Papy Slim. Were you surprised by the finish there? Saw Papy seem to be winning the start, the fight, and then it went Slim's way. Yeah,
it was good. Gritty. That's what I would call that fight. Well done for Slim. He always manages to find that punch, even though he's tired, he manages to find that punch, and he did it again. So you have to respect him for that. I will say, though, with Salt Papy, those two shots that finished him off, that's more to do with how much weight he lost so quickly.
So you think the weight was an issue?
I think the weight is the issue. You can't lose that much weight in that short amount of time and think it's not going to affect you in a fight. The first 2 rounds, 3 rounds, you might be all right, but down the stretch, it's going to show. And I think it showed in that fight that he lost the weight too quickly. And when you lose the weight too quickly like that, then your punch resistance is not as good. And it showed with those last 2 shots, because it weren't shots where he put everything behind it. They were just bang, bang, just...
They're the kind of classic straight right hands you get taught in an amateur boxing gym on the bag, on the pads. But they didn't seem like he was loading up with them, just threw it straight. No. It felt like a jab almost, a jab, jab, bang on the ground.
Exactly, and I just thought Salt Papy had nothing left in his body. But Salt Papy, he shows a lot of heart all the time. So fans love him, no matter what, win or lose, they love him.
And what a fight it certainly was. Hopefully we can get a show in the Philippines in the near future. Before I let you go, though, let's talk about the tag team match. Both fighters got knocked down. It's the first competitive tag team boxing fight we probably had. I know the one in Nashville was semi-competitive, but this one was a real fire fest.
Yeah. That was probably their best one, right?
That was my favourite part, then, I would say. Because when I think Pineda got knocked down, and when Alex Wasabi got knocked down, I know Alex slipped, but he got caught on the way down.
Well, when Pineda got knocked down, I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
It was a good shot, though, Alex caught him with, though, wasn't it?
But Wasabi, he's all right. He's improving, But then I thought, that's a wrap now, But then, because I didn't expect B-Dave to come in, and after what Wasabi done to Pineda, I didn't expect him to give Wasabi, a test. But he did. He was pushing Wasabi back, giving him trouble. So, entertaining fight all around.
B-Dave took a lot of shots, though. He definitely tanked a lot of shots right to the head. Didn't block him whatsoever. Just had his hands up and straight through the guard and took them kind of like a champ. Let's talk about a few other things. You were with Deji all night. What was his kind of reaction to KSI losing?
I haven't talked to Deji about his brother losing. I mean, in the heat of the moment, everyone's going to have, their opinions, and everyone's going to be like, especially because, remember, this is a influencer event, crossover, whatever you want to call it. So they don't want to see Tommy beating their star guy, So I can understand, after the event, everyone's heated and everyone's like, no, this is a robbery. And this is why I want to do the breakdown, as someone that's neutral, as someone that respects Tommy and respects KSI, and just say it how it is. And you never know. I could come to the conclusion that KSI did win the fight. When I was live, I thought it was a draw. I thought after round 2, Tommy started to find his feet and started to find his rhythm. And then KSI started to slow down a bit. He was still jumping, but those jumps weren't as lively.
Prominent.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when Tommy started to come into the fight, and it was 6 rounds. So from round 3 was a bit, it's not sure. I'm just going off by what, how I was when I was seeing it live. I was like, I don't know. But 4, 5, 6, Tommy was like, I think he was in control.
Putting on him a few more. Any fight news on Deji at all? Do you reckon he'll be out next year?
Hopefully this year. I can't say anything until things are confirmed. But we're training for this year. Yeah, okay. And then next year is going to be massive.
Do you think Deji can fight for a belt next year?
Yeah, but I don't know. If
you can have your first boxing world champ in this gym.
That's him right there. He's training now, Martin Forum. I think Deji...
I know Deji won't really care about the belts.
He won't care about the belt. It's a bit like...
But he would like a belt, though. I know Deji. He would definitely like be holding a belt, though.
I'll make him one. If you put it into like pro boxing context, like Floyd Mayweather, in the end, he didn't fight for belts.
Yeah.
He's a prize fighter, so it was about the big name and the most money. And I think that's what Deji wants a good name that's going to generate attention for the public, So I don't think it's about a belt. If there's a belt, then it's a bonus.
But I can imagine Deji walking around this gym with the belt on his shoulder, kind of posing, going over to Martin, being like, "Look at my belt." Can he not?
He'll probably sleep with it.
I can imagine it, certainly. At Trench's Boxing Gym, any news coming up for the gym itself?
News?
Like classes, that's all available now?
Oh, yeah, of course. Classes are available. You just go onto the website. The link's in my bio. It's on the gym's bio. There's classes, there's memberships, there's PTs, there's self-train. There's beautiful people here. There's great boxing here, great coaches, good energy, nice plants. Good.
The plants, are they real or are they fake? They're real.
They're real.
Oh, wow.
Real. We've got
more work for you to water them every time.
We've got mushroom, tropical plants.
Okay.
What can I say? It's the best gym in the UK.
And clothing, that's all on the website as well?
Yeah, Kareem's working hard behind the scenes on that. We have to get you a red one just for you.
Yeah.
I was thinking...
I'll buy it off you guys.
Because I was going to give you one at the show, but I thought you only wear red. Yeah. So there's no point.
There's no point whatsoever.
There's no point.
And you want to wear it in the interviews to promote it?
I'll get you one. I'll get you a one-off.
Thank you.
Red one.
It's good promotion, I guess. For the gym, like, you're wearing it right now. If it's just like, I don't know, 30, 40, 50,000 views, that's still that many people seeing it, eyes on it, which is quite good. Just one last thing. York Hall next month. Are you surprised Misfits are going to York Hall? I know York Hall is a very traditional boxing ground. Misfits, kind of untraditional. That's a polite way to put it. York Hall's about 1.3 thousand people there. Is that sort of kind of kicking the door down into professional boxing, saying we're here to stay? or is that the kind of them finding a suitable arena to put Jarvis and a few other fighters in?
Yeah, I think it's about just finding a suitable arena. York Hall is actually an iconic venue, even though it's a small venue. It's an iconic venue because everyone's on top of the ring. So when you got 1,000, I don't know how it holds 1,300 people packed into York Hall on top of the ring and around the ring, it's really good energy. That's why it's an iconic arena. And for the kind of show that it's going to be, you know, there's not Deji on it, there's not KSI, you know, I think it'd be a good packed out event for what it's going to be.
Yeah, that's true. Every seat in York Hall is good, and every great box in York Hall, so it does make sense. So Daley, I appreciate you having me down in the gym today. I'll see you when the next fight's announced. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.